Welcome back. Today we're going to get into getting your mules willing to go over obstacles. There's a few things that you need to have before you start doing this, and that's having your groundwork done, getting them to cross over maybe a tarp, getting them starting to thinking on crossing new obstacles on the ground before I would do this in the saddle. The second thing that you would need is you'll be able to need to roll the hindquarters on them, moving the hindquarters and engaging them. And the technique we're going to use is, the idea behind this whole thing is we're going to go face her up to the obstacle, and then if she chooses to go to the right, we're going to be pulling on the right rein, rolling the hindquarters to the right, and then letting her face kind of up to the obstacle again. If she chooses to go to the left, we're going to use the left rein and left leg and move the hindquarters that way. And the idea is behind it is it's harder to get them, harder to choose not to go over the mattress versus going over the mattress. And the idea is it's not impossible, and it's not going to be a punishment not going over the mattress. It will just be easier. The easier choice will be going over the mattress. And that's what we're going to be using today, is the mattress. We've done this a couple times with her. I just want to have, hopefully she'll show you a little bit as I walk up to it. And this technique you can use on a lot of different things, such as a barn sour, even just walking out in the field going in a straight line. You pick out a straight line. If they choose to go left of it, I might use, roll the hinds to the left and face them up to the direction I want her to go. But we're going to focus on the obstacle today. Another thing to cover is your release time on it. If they're starting to go up to the obstacle, you'll release your leg and your rein. As she's thinking about going toward the obstacle is when you're wanting to release that. And if she chooses to dodge us to the left, we'll just keep doing it again. And this is something that can take a half hour, 45 minutes. It can take quite a while. But I had really good success with my mules and some horses using this technique. And that's kind of one of two techniques we use. Another technique we can use is keeping them between your reins and your legs. But I found this is less anxiety for your mule and will get them more willing to go over new obstacles. It has worked better on the mindset, and it creates another big thing. It creates a search in your mule. Get them to think where you want them to go, not just going over the obstacles. I want my mules relaxed. I want them thinking about going over the obstacle. I want them willing to be going over the obstacle, not just doing the obstacle. So we're riding up to the obstacle. She chooses to go to the right of it. I'll be picking up the right rein, moving the hindquarters to the right. As she's facing up there, I release her. She's not thinking about the obstacle. I'll do the left here. I'm going to roll the left side. Try to be up in this area for you guys. Better video. But so we'll move her on. She's thinking about going to the left here again. So I'm going to roll the hindquarters and get her straight up to the obstacle again. She chooses to go to the right, we'll let her go to the right and roll the hindquarters that way. Go over here. She's not thinking about the obstacle. I want her to think about the obstacle, not just thinking about everything else. I want her to think that's where I'm going to. Another thing, my mind's going to be focused on that obstacle. When I'm on top, I'm looking at that obstacle. If she doesn't cross the obstacle, I'll be rolling the hinds. But as soon as I get her to think I'm going to be staring straight at that obstacle, she should be going toward the obstacle. So she makes a choice to go to the right again. We'll roll the hindquarters to the right. There, she's thinking about the obstacle. You can see her walk up and start to relax up at the obstacle and wanting to stop. Your mules, if you're doing this for the first time, it's going to be a while before they even figure this part out. But if you stick with it, you'll have really good results out of it. So here, my mind's going straight over the obstacle. I'm thinking about going over the obstacle. I'm going to ask her to go forward. And her mind should be going straight. There, she chooses to go over the obstacle, nice and relaxed, and crosses it. Go through the water. So now I'm going to go over to the bridge, and what I'm going to do is come up here, and I'm going to line her up to the bridge. I'm getting her to think, okay, my mind's focused going straight over the bridge. So I expect her to go that direction. If she doesn't choose one way or the other, that's not necessarily really, really bad, so I'm not going to get after her. I'm just going to redirect her and getting her mind thinking about the bridge. Every time she thinks about the bridge, I'm going to release her. She chooses to go to the left. She'd rather eat grass than do anything else. And right now, I'm not going to be focused about which direction over the bridge. She'd rather eat grass. I'm going to use a little bit of energy. She chooses not to go over the bridge. I just want you to think about going over that bridge. She's thinking more about the grass. I'm going to keep her feet moving a little bit more. Roll the hinds, and then release as we go over the bridge. And there she goes. Ooh. The idea behind it, you can use this on if you use it on a really green mule that's never seen an obstacle before. The best thing it's a ton of fun doing it with this way. The first step they take on that obstacle, if you're keeping them between your reins and legs, most of the time they'll rush the obstacle. They're wanting to jump over the obstacle. They're wanting to, they got a little bit of anxiety in there, which isn't completely horrible because they need to deal with anxiety and stress a little bit. But on a green one, it is so fun to watch them take that first step on it. They're really willing, and it's 100% up to your mule to cross it or not. And you just got to stick with it. And do this at home before you go out on the trail to do it. Because on the trail, you won't have the places all the time to use this exercise. But you're doing it at home with a lot of different obstacles and then going out and make it useful on the trail. One thing I've seen a good result from is if they do see something scary, most of the time they're wanting to go up to it rather than jumping away from it. Because the way their mind works is they know nothing bad will happen if they do turn around from it. But the idea behind it, the last time I was scared about something, the quicker I went up to it, the more release I've gotten, the more rest time I had. So that's kind of the idea behind this whole thing, is making it easy to cross it and harder to not when you're not willing to cross over the obstacle. And we'll probably use a different mule in later videos, one that we're having a little trouble with new obstacles that isn't used to this technique. She's had it about 2 or 3 times, so she kind of has that search already built into her. So that's about all I've got today, and thanks for watching.